Coming up, Trailblazers, a series that takes you into the heads and homes of trendsetters to get you a slice of their lives. Namaskar, my guest today is somebody with enviable academic credentials and a great job to boot. But why we chose him today is because he has doggedly pursued a higher calling in life. Meet Dr. Kiran Seth. He's a mechanical engineer from IIT Kharagpur and a PhD from Columbia University in New York. And for several years now, he's been teaching in IIT Delhi. Kiran is special because he founded SPICMACAY. SPICMACAY, a society for the promotion of Indian classical music and culture amongst youth, has been founded since 1977. Its tagline, so to say, is a movement for, of and by the youth. Kiran, many times people must have asked you this question, but you'll have to repeat the answer for our viewers again. So what was the spark that made you start SPICMACAY?
Actually, I used to sing Western music, pop music in IIT with the guitar and everything. But we used to have every year a staff member at IIT Kharagpur used to organize a whole night program of Indian classical music called the Green Amateurs Night. And we used to go there देखने के लिए भाई कौन आया है कौन नहीं आया पीछे बैठ जाते थे. We put our bedding and play cards, go to sleep. But nobody was interested in this business, what was going on. But what this man did was, he was able to put a seed into us without us knowing that that a seed had been put into us.
Which man?
The man who organized it.
Okay.
D. Shen. He used to organize this every year.
Yes.
And so when I graduated and went abroad to do my PhD, there I remember in 1972, there was a small little advertisement in Village Voice which announced that Ustad Nasir Aminuddin Dagar and Ustad Zia Fariduddin Dagar were going to give a Drupad recital at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York. तो हमने कहा चलो चलो देखें. So we landed up there, and that day was like really one of the most inspiring moments of my there are some moments in life which you never forget, and that was one of them, because I walked into the hall like that, and I walked out to the hall walking 1 inch above the ground, figuratively. And I didn't know why it happened, but I knew it had happened. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. So it could happen. So immediately there and then what we did was, without understanding what was actually going on, it's like in science we call it a black box. हमें पता है क्या अंदर जा रहा है और क्या बाहर आ रहा है, पर उसके अंदर क्या हो रहा है हमें कुछ नहीं पता. So it was like that. So when I came, we said that we should start this immediately, and then any artist, great artist, used to go through New York. We used to catch hold of them and request them to perform for the students at Columbia University, where I was doing my PhD. Like that, Ali Akbar Khan Sahab and many other greats performed there. And slowly, slowly, the understanding of this whole realm of what I call Nad Yoga and many other yogas related with it, how to connect yourself with the within, started dawning on one, and I'm still in the process of understanding it.
No, but you have to tell us how you came back to India and founded the organization. I think initially you tried to do this through IIT, and then it sort of blossomed into SPICMACAY.
It's a very organic growth. It's just done out of intuition, nothing like after finishing my PhD, I joined Bell Labs in America, and I was there as a research scientist. But I kept in touch with this. I started learning classical music there only, and the more I came to know about this whole realm, the more I thought, why is it that we are denied the opportunity of being exposed to the best of what our ancestors have developed in our growing up years. We are taught everything about every other part of the world, but we know so little about ourselves. So I got this offer to join IIT Delhi, so I came back to check it out. And here I remember again, I was talking to a class of maybe 40-50 young people, and I asked them if they had ever heard the name of one of the greatest sitar players who was alive at that time, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee. There was not one student in the class who had heard his name. I'm not talking of having heard his music. They had all the cassettes of, you can name it, Joan Baez and Stevie Wonder and the Beatles and this and that, but nobody had heard the name of this great man. So then I said, why don't we do something about it? So they said, sure. So we all got together and formed MEFORG, Mechanical Engineering Final Year Operation Research Group. I was teaching final years operation research. So we decided to hold one program, and we distributed out the work, and we booked the convocation hall of IIT Delhi, which has got a capacity of about 1500, and we publicized it a lot. Come the day of the program, well, I thought at least half the hall will get full, but come the day of the program, when I went in, about 10 minutes before the program, there might have been 5 people. When the program started, there may have been 10 people. When the first rag got over, we were back to 5. So it was quite a disastrous start, but we said never say die. And again next year we got together, and this time we called it Me5s, Mechanical Engineering Final Years Present. We learnt a bit from our mistakes, etc., etc., etc. And this time it was a marginal success. And after this, in fact even before this, we always use classical music as a means to an end, not an end in itself. Because I remember during this period only, we had the first Hatha Yoga workshop in IIT also. So what I'm trying to point out here is that classical music is one of the beautiful methods of going inward. But there are so many different methods which have been developed in this wonderful nation of ours. So we are trying to bring all these little aspects, different aspects, right into the lives of the young people.
Just rewinding a bit, you talked about the fact that you had a job at Bell Labs. It's a great place to have another job. What made you decide to come back? I know you said you got an offer from IIT Delhi, but when you were weighing the pros and the cons, what made you finally take that decision?
See, I wanted to come and check out this whole realm of the, what should I say, this realm of the inner realm, because what I found in Bell Labs was that it was a fantastic place to work in, and there were some of the topmost scientists there who were there in that labs. If I remember correctly, there were 7 Nobel laureates in Bell Labs at that time. But what I found was that there was a great deal of connection with trying to find out the secrets of the outward world, which is fantastic, and I learnt a lot from them. Hats off to them. But the balance to bring in that discovery of the inner world was to some extent, I feel, missing. So we have this thing in our heritage that says that Paravidya and Aparavidya must be balanced. You must have balance, and then you have a balanced human being. So while looking outward and trying to figure out all these wonderful discoveries in the outward domain, in maths, in all these domains, in fact maths I would put in the inner domain, in fact. But I also wanted to see what our ancestors had, what great experimentation they had done in this inner domain, and that was one of the reasons of my wanting to come back and check it out.
Okay, now SPICMACAY is essentially a voluntary organization which is driven by students
and senior people.
But it's all voluntary.
Yeah,
and
basically.
a lot of the programming and the arrangement for programs, a lot of it happens, and there are lots of ups and downs in the process, because I think currently you do some 5,000 odd programs per year.
In the last year, in 12-13 we did about 7,000 events.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are going to be glitches, there will be people at cross purposes.
Correct.
So how do you manage to teach at IIT and manage this?
Actually, there are many people who are, involved with it, obviously.
Right.
I've got one thing on one hand, it's IIT, and the sort of the family sort of thing has been taken over by this PICMECE. Right. So whatever I can do in that realm, I spend all that time on trying to develop better ways of running the movement, of getting more people involved, and that's why one is able to. And one most important thing is, when you are in love, then there's no hurdle. So here it's like one has fallen in love with an abstract concept in which there are no repercussions. Repercussions mean of a type, it's a tough battle, but they are not repercussions of the type which we normally experience in worldly love. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's why it's a wonderful thing. It's really, the more one goes into it, the more one finds that there is what a wonderful thing our ancestors have given to us in our inheritance, I would say, and how little we know of it, how little.
One more question about running the organization. PICMECE is...
First of all, it's not an organization, it's a movement.
It's a movement, right. Now coming to that fact, the fact that it's a movement where you have young blood coming in every year with new ideas, fresh energy and commitment, and then after say 3 to 4 years they move on. Okay. And a fresh batch comes in. Okay. What has made Dr. Kiran Seth stay on?
Just, I'm telling you, when you are in love, then you just stay on. I'm in love with the concept. You see, the thing is that this whole realm is so abstract, so subtle, so inspiring, and most importantly, so mystical.
No, I understand that, Kiran. What I'm talking about is a sort of passing of the baton.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
For this movement, it's about 37 years.
Right.
Passing on the baton is something you might be even thinking of now.
Lots.
So, what is happening on that front?
See, what we do is we take to all our meetings, we have stipulated that there must be 2 senior people and there must be 2 young people. This is what we have stipulated. So everywhere when we go and meet for finances, when we go and meet for media publicity, when we go to any school, college for doing orientations, there's always this effort to have a mix of people who are what I call the banks and people who are the river. The young people are the river, the senior people are the banks, and both of them have to go together to fulfill this objective of ours. And I'm trying my level best to reduce my involvement, like letting other people do it. Like this time when we had the convention in IIT Madras in Chennai, for the last 15-20 days I was almost incommunicado. I tried to let it fall on the shoulders of the next group of people to see how they would do it, and they did a wonderful job. So I think that
but Kiran, here I'd like to say that it's always a group of people, because after Kiran Seth, it's a group of people.
Yeah, it will be a group of people.
It's not an individual. It will not be a couple of people.
I think it will be a small group of people. That's how I envisage it.
Okay.
That there should be a group of people who will sort of take over. One person, there's no need of having one person. Yeah. Even I don't think there should be one person. So there should be a group of people who take over. That's how I feel.
Couple of times when I've rung you up in the morning, I hear the sound of the tanpura in the background.
Yeah, it even was here right now when you came.
Yeah, well, I think you probably have it throughout the day when you're alone.
No.
So How does a day in the life of Dr. Kiran Seth pan out?
Well, I usually try and get up at 4 o'clock, and then from 4 to 7 I do a little bit of my riyaz.
Mm-hmm.
And then from
This is Drupad or just Swar Sadhana?
Swar Sadhana, and
Okay.
that's how I was taught.
Hmm.
So Swar Sadhana, and then I do my Hatha Yoga for about another 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And then I'm all set to go, wherever I have to go. That's my morning routine.
No, so when you're all set to go, where do you normally go?
I go to IIT, na? Sometimes I go to IIT. Sometimes I do my work on my laptop. Sometimes there's some meeting I go for.
Yesterday we met Kiran at his house in the Delhi University area. Today we thought we'd catch up with him at his place of work, which is IIT Delhi. What are your future plans for SPICMACAY?
Well, what we are trying to do is reach out to every child in the country by 2020, which means about anywhere between 17 to 20 lakh institutions. Now, whether we'll be able to achieve it or not, I don't know, but that's what our vision is. And by reaching out, I meant that at least one program connected with our heritage we should be able to do in every school and college in the country. And see, what we are acting is like a catalyst. We sort of bring up inspiring person to a young person, and that interaction hopefully starts a reaction, which they in turn continue to go to hear other programs, etc., 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 learn classical music or learn classical dance, or go and watch film, cinema classics, etc., etc.
The main focus of SPICMACAY is to organize music and dance and other traditional art forms, their programs in schools and colleges.
Not only that, we are doing cinema classics,
right.
we are doing yoga and
Yes.
Meditation workshops,
Yes.
having talks by eminent writers, philosophers, even food, holistic food.
I wanted to know what is the purpose of having SPICMACAY concerts and music in the park.
The music in the park is like as I said, a topping on the cake, in the sense that what we want to do is we want to get people who are decision makers to also come and see what we are attempting to do, and they would not necessarily come to schools and colleges, but here when we do it in the park, it's for the open public. They can come in and they can sit anywhere they want and be anonymous, and yet get a feeling of this.
I think you need to just tell the viewers what music in the park is, because then some of them might not know.
Music in the park is an attempt to bring the greatest of our classical musicians to Nehru Park, which is in Delhi and in other important parks in different parts of the country. The idea being, when you do it in a park, first of all, the ambience is very nice, people come and they can move out anytime they want, sort of. So what happens here is that the advantage is that top people, decision makers, they would be coming and spending some time hearing these great masters, and we may be able to understand the importance of what is being attempted.
Don't you think maybe it will be better to take them to a classroom instead?
We try, we invite so many people to come to classrooms, but somehow we have not been very successful with that. You know, maybe because it's during the office hours. It's also, you see, most of our programs, if you notice, in schools and colleges are done during the time of the school or college hours.
But there are a lot of programs.
There are some programs that
in the
are done in the evening also, but most of them are done during this period, most of them. So that's.
You rightly said that SPICMACAY's role is to act as a catalyst. But how would you comment on the fact that if you walk into a traditional music or dance concert in an auditorium, you would willy-nilly find the same people there, and maybe the first 7-8 rows would be full, and most of these people are, let's say, middle-aged. So how do you think Spikmake has been able to tap the interest of the youth?
I think, you know, this is a long gestation period project that we have taken up. Most people who are there, who are coming into it, the people who are coming to become regular concert goers, they are small in number, but it is happening, and usually it happens 15-20 years after they have graduated, like when it sort of pakka jab ho jata hai. You know what I'm saying? Inside. I know many people.
When they become middle-aged themselves.
Yeah, many people are coming who are middle-aged, who have seen Spikmake in their college or school days. But also, I might mention that many students are taking up classical music and dance. They are learning it. So that's a very, very positive sign. I know many young people who, I don't know, not only because of us, but because of general awareness that the heritage is so rich, they have started taking up classical dance, classical music, and I think we have also got something to contribute in that.
Okay, last question, Kiran. It's almost 4 decades since Spikmake has been around. How have you been able to evaluate its impact so far, and is there any course correction that you're planning?
See, the impact is determined by a couple of things. One is that our activity chart has become bigger and bigger and bigger. How does the activity chart become bigger? When a school or college says, look, we want to do the program and we are ready to contribute something towards that event. So, the fact that most schools and colleges all over the country are wanting to become party to some of the events that we are doing is an indicator that some effect is taking place, number one. Number two is when great artists and musicians and dancers who do not require Spikmake as a platform, they have got many platforms and they are actually making time for Spikmake. When they say it's a very fulfilling experience and they are able to corroborate that this is having an effect, we feel yes, it is having an effect. We have not done any big survey, I must admit, of getting some agency to do a big survey to find out what's before
group.
And after and all that. We have not done all that.
Okay.
Because there's so little time left. I feel sometimes I feel we are fighting a losing battle. The power of the media today is so strong. There's so many different images that are being given to the young person which are immediate, which are something which titillating and which can capture the imagination, capture the attention of the young person. That's a very, very big difficult thing to get them to sit down and concentrate on something that has got a gestation period which is not immediate.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hope the movement continues its momentum.
Thank you.
And I hope you still continue to be the catalyst that fine-tunes sensitivities in traditional forms of music.
We're definitely trying our best, and we'll continue with the help of people like you, all of you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Kiran mentioned that a lot of Spikmake's activities are managed through regular meetings of core group members and students. We thought we'd listen into one of them, and this one is being held in Kiran's office in IIT Delhi. We thought we'd check out what the core group members had to say about Spikmake and about Kiran.
जब दिल्ली में आए तो दिल्ली में हमारे बच्चों ने जब स्कूल और कॉलेज ज्वाइन किया तो उन लोगों ने स्पिकमैके का कार्यभार संभाला और वो करते रहे। अब उनके साथ साथ लग के काम करने के साथ साथ अब मैं स्पिकमैके में काम करती हूँ।
What has been your personal experience as far as feedback from the youth on this?
ये ये बड़ा ही एक दूसरा प्रश्न है, क्योंकि किसी भी प्रोग्राम के होने के बाद, किसी भी टॉक के होने के बाद जब बच्चों से पूछो तो वो बच्चे हमेशा कहेंगे, मतलब आप अगर उनकी आंखों में देखिएगा तो वो सोचते हैं कि अब ये दोबारा कब आएंगी, अब ये आर्टिस्ट कब आएंगे दोबारा। इस चीज़ को हम लोगों ने फिर 5 दिन के वर्कशॉप में चेंज किया। तब जहाँ कहीं भी गांव में गांव के स्कूलों में अगर हम जाते हैं तो वहाँ हम आर्टिस्ट को जो कि वर्कशॉप करते हैं उनको हम 5 दिन के लिए ठहरा देते हैं, क्योंकि बच्चों की जो भूख है वो जागृत हो जाती है, और वो 5 दिन जब वो सीखते हैं तो फिर दोबारा सोचते हैं कि इनसे हम कब सीखेंगे कुछ, ये पता चलता है, तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
What is it about Kiran Seth that brought you to Speak McKay?
एक फंक्शन में मैं डॉक्टर किरण सेठ को मिले और आई फेल्ट सो नाइस. ही इज सच अ हम्बल पर्सन. ही इज बीन इन दिस फॉर such a huge project for the whole world, in fact, and he's been doing it single-handedly, started at least. तो इसीलिए मुझे इतना अच्छा लगा. It is because of him that now I have joined it. So मुझे तो I am really enjoying, and you learn a lot, and every day is a learning process for me. I joined rather late, but still I feel at this age also I am learning.
You've been associated with Speak McKay for a while. In what way do you think it has changed since the time you joined?
See, that's a very difficult and a tricky question. We have only grown in last as many years as I've been associated, but I'd like to give you a little bit of background of the times when I joined Speak McKay, which was in 1999 and 2000. I, of course, met Dr. Seth at a performance of Madhvi Mudgalji, and I feel he's like a Pied Piper. He has to talk to people, and we all start following him. And we do that till today. It's changed in terms of the growth. It's changed for the better. We have evolved in last many years. We've been evolving since Dr. Seth started the movement. But when I first joined Speak McKay, the number of activities done was much smaller than that is being done now. Therefore, I feel that we have managed to have a small impact on schools and the management of the schools, that they're coming to us and asking for more activity of Speak McKay. That means more coming in close proximity of great artists, inspiring human beings. Yes, that is the change I see.
You got inspired to join Speak McKay through your children. You've been associated with it for quite some time now. What exactly is your role in Speak McKay?
मैं सोचती हूँ कि मेरा काम बहुत जिम्मेदारी का है, क्योंकि जो सर ने मुझे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी, शास्त्री भवन और केंद्रीय विद्यालय तो NCERT, तो मुझे लगता है कि वो एक बहुत चैलेंजिंग एक काम है, क्योंकि जो हम फॉलोअप का काम करते हैं मिनिस्ट्री से और इस तरह के जो हमारे शिक्षा के जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनसे जो काम कराना बहुत कठिन है. फॉलोअप जो है उनका बहुत धीरे स्पेस में चलता है, और हम लोग एक क्वालिटी वर्क जो चाहते हैं उनकी तरफ से तो रिस्पॉन्स थोड़ा उनका मंद रफ्तार से ही चलता है.
तो NCERT में अभी आपका स्पीक McKay के साथ क्या टाइप चाह रहे हैं आप?
जो उनके गवर्नमेंट के अंडर में जो उनके स्कूल्स आते हैं जिनको NCERT ने अडॉप्ट किया हुआ है, हम उन्हीं के लिए भी प्रोग्राम करते हैं. और जो उनके डाइट हैं, जो टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स हैं, हम उन टीचर्स के लिए भी प्रोग्राम करते हैं. जैसे कथक करते हैं, रानी कानम जी का, रामा जी का भरतनाट्यम हुआ था, और जिस तरह का भी वो प्रोग्राम डिमांड करते हैं उस एक पर्टिकुलर टीचिंग ग्रुप के लिए, तो वो हम उन्हें प्रोवाइड करते हैं. वो स्पीक McKay की हेल्प लेते हैं उसमें हमसे.